Hi there, Peter Fox is Commercial Director at Digicom. Myself and Peter have worked on many client projects together where AV and FM crossover. I hope you enjoy our chat.
Peter, good to see you again.
Good to see you, folks. Great to see you out.
Yeah. We've been working together a long time.
We have.
We know each other really well. I think I'm a better cyclist. No, I'm not. That's a lie. I'm joking. Anyway, listen, tell us about Digicom. I know Digicom for many years. But give us a brief. What areas now and what are you covering?
So we're system integrators, or audiovisual system integrators, which back in the day we would deal a lot with real estate facilities managers in fixtures and fittings, putting up screens, putting up projectors, controlling the lighting via our room control system, controlling the curtains, etc., in these nice, sexy boardrooms. It's all moved a massive pace since then. You've now got multiple rooms, which are like Teams rooms or Zoom rooms. You've also got all of those systems on a network. They were once off the network. Our stuff was separate to the IT network. It's on what we call video over IP. But we've also got these very complex bespoke spaces like town hall areas, training rooms, complex boardrooms and other type of meeting rooms where it's not just straightforward to put a set-top unit in the room with a screen and beam it out and everything works. So that's a very specialist area.
And is this all since COVID, these things, or was COVID a contributor, or was it always going that way?
During COVID, it was a nightmare. Offices were closed down, so there wasn't much going on. We were selling a lot of desktop solutions, as in Zoom software and Team software. But since everyone's come back, we are in this hybrid scenario. It is, I think, the debate and the questions, and I think there's still a bit of caution and questioning around hybrid, but it looks pretty rock solid to me that there's 2 days a week on average that people stay at home, Mondays and Fridays, by the looks of things. Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, they're in the office. It's funny, I've talked with people who have made press announcements about the fact that they wanted their people back in the office, and it has not happened. And what's actually happened is that in certain cases, less than 3 days a week. And if you want me to work for you, I will. But if you want me to move over to that company, which will give me what I want anyway. So they've all relented. The big noise about people going back to the office. But the reality is it's max 3 days.
Yeah. And funny, we're seeing that through our occupational sensors, right? So we're looking at occupancy management. And we're seeing that, there is that push for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Wednesday is a bit of a dip. Thursday, Friday. But then certain things can trigger this. And this is a big issue in FM because from a facilities management perspective, you can't predict cleaning hours. You can't predict consumables. You can't predict food, which is a big thing because food waste is phenomenal. And you're trying to manage that waste and you're trying to decide or predict who's going to be in. And our occupancy management sensors are telling our clients all sorts of weird and wonderful things and trying to trend that as an issue. So we're all learning, I think it is. And I think you did right. What our clients have been telling us is we've mandated these days.
Yes.
But the staff are
reality is not the case. Correct. Not the case.
We didn't say that. So where's your industry going?
So that hybrid means that the client has to put in multiple meeting room solutions. And what it also demands is that what's called meeting room equity. So basically, when you've got a number of delegates in a room and you've got a number of delegates that are in the call remotely, everybody's got to have a feeling that they're in the same room. So what manufacturers are doing is typically if this room here had 12 delegates in it and there was 4 delegates on a Teams call online, typically AI would take a head and shoulders shot of everybody in the room real time, and that would then appear as 12 different frames up in a gallery on the screen to give that look and feel as if, we're all part of a video conference call, not just the 4 people that are on the far side.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a real strive to get as much meeting room equity put into our solutions. Obviously, there's a real strive to get, when people are in the office, the JLL workplace research, I think it's actually about a year or two old, 50% of the people had said the reason they want to be in the office is to socialize. So there is a lot of work being done in offices to make the furniture soft, to have the cafe space. I mean, places like Pinergy and ServiceNow, there's the 2 new offices there off Dawson. They're lovely. They're absolutely beautiful, prime working space, and they've got the most amazing facilities in them, which makes you feel like you're working from home. In there, okay?
But within a social setting.
But within a social setting, because they've grabbed this idea that the purpose of the office is now for people to come together, socialize, learn by osmosis, and I guess make decisions, which is a problem because less decisions are being made with remote service than they are if everybody was in the office.
And it just shows you, I mean, it doesn't work over Teams and Zoom, as well as accidental collaboration in an office. To a guy on the stairs or a girl on the stairs, say, hey, listen, can you give me a decision on this or what direction? Everything, as you talked about earlier, everything has to be planned or
robotic.
Mechanical.
It's mechanical.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for a situation where you want to brainstorm, you want a blue sky, you want to be creative, you want energy in the room.
Yeah.
So audiovisual only works as a presentation purpose for everybody in the same room. If you're in the course of a project and you're on meeting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the project and you're task managing, that's something where not everybody needs to be in the room. You can do that over video, and that's where we're thriving at the moment.
Funny, when from an Azolla perspective, what we're seeing is the hygiene factors in the background, right? So you're front and center with the AV because you have to try and create that in the moment, like that. You're trying to not concoct, but create an environment that they are all together in that one room or whatever. We're at the background where people want to know that it's safe to come to the office, so we're looking at air quality management and temperature and humidity controls and that sort of stuff, and presenting that in dashboard form to staff or customers, so they feel and they see it and they feel okay, it's safe to be here. There is that lingering, that fear, but awareness of, is the office safe? Is that social space okay to be in?
I don't know where that's going, because you've got certain. I don't know of too many in Ireland, but they've got this master services arrangement where there's one hub that talks to absolutely everything in the office, absolutely everything. So from a facilities management point of view, Azolla software talks to it, and whatever actions are taken from it. Then you've got the building management systems, BMS, and then you've got audiovisual, who's actually trying to say, well, no, we're going to just do more than just the audio visual piece. We're going to do smart office. We're going to do air monitoring. We're going to be able to manage the air conditioning, possibly the lighting, etc., etc. There's a bit of a battle going on there between different industries. I'm not sure it's our space, but certainly it's interesting. It's coming into tenders now more, where not only do they want to have the audiovisual integration on the network, but they also want to have some element of interconnectivity with smart office software.
Wow.
So
all on the one piece of glass.
All on the one pane of glass. So quarterly reviews, we're going back to the client, we're telling them about their meeting room spaces, heat maps, etc., about what's going on in those areas, as well as air quality and other stuff, which the vendors are now putting in as part of their solution.
And it's a realistic thing to say. I mean, it's not that there's anything wrong with that. I think the client is aspirational in what they want.
I agree.
And then everyone is trying to race to get to that.
The one solution for absolutely everything. I've seen this with one or two prospects, and they've gone, we want state of the art. We want best in class, best in Ireland, best in Europe. And as part of this, we want this master services arrangement. So between all the interoperability headaches with it, there's an extra 250 grand, which is on the building, which they say, okay, maybe not that. So I agree with you. I think it's a long way to go yet. It's a long way. And we've got to keep in mind that artificial intelligence is out there. You've got the Microsofts and you've got the Googles and even the Amazons of this world. And they're coming up with quick off-the-shelf solutions that could wipe out a lot of this.
Yes, internally, and with a consultant to the business there recently. And we were saying that, we have a horizon that we work towards, and we have a strategy, a 3-year strategy, because there's no point even looking at 5 and even 3 years too late, because we say now in 3 years it's going to be so different. Because not only could we be gazumped if we follow a path, but technology will have changed, and the need will have changed, and that's going to just blindside us. One of our add-ons in our system, which is our manuals, basically. So where you can check how to raise a work order, how to create a dashboard, how to all those kind of things. Step of finding, but you've got to go find that through our training manual. And we're now saying, well, why aren't we using a ChatGPT or equivalent that it will do that for you? And also speech enable it, so that there is no typing in, there is no sifting through a glossary to find out where it is. It is now instantaneous. And this is where AI is taking over in all the periphery areas of all our businesses. You know, even in report writing, we're trying to increase our report writing module, and we're saying, well, maybe it isn't about report writing anymore. Maybe, you know, the open AI that's coming out will create a new summary of all the dashboards, all the data on a 24-hour basis in a 15 or 30 second. Nothing to see here, or everything is fine with intolerance except for, and it's sent through your phone before the facility manager gets into the office. She has got, 1,000 data points that told him have been assessed within, down to condensing to 15 seconds of the conversation before he gets it.
And it sort of lends to the fact that maybe we in the audiovisual space and you in, I'll just call it the facilities management software space, stick to the knitting and just keep the architecture open, let it be interoperable with whatever is out there. I mean, one player that we're working with now and a lot of our service support clients is ServiceNow. I mean, they're a monster and they're, constantly bringing out new products. And so we could go once we can interrupt with ServiceNow, fantastic. But we'll stick to the knitting in regards to our audiovisual remote management and stick to the screens, to the video conferencing, etc., etc. Because if we try to bring out something that's going to suit everybody, we'll get gazumped. I think so. And you would have spent a fortune in doing that, and then all of a sudden you say, something's going to just whiz by you. What does that look like in your industry? Where is your industry going with this? Okay, we're all going to be impacted. Sure. Even today we're being impacted. Where's the big player in that space? So most of our clients, we're in the enterprise space, so financial, fintech, tech, pharma, professional services. We're very large in those spaces. Most of those clients, tech a little bit less, are using Microsoft Teams. So 95% of our client base is Microsoft Teams. So they've introduced Copilot, they've bought ChatGPT, etc., OpenAI. So they've now brought out this solution where we can be on a video conference call here, a Teams call, and I arrived to the meeting 10 minutes late. You were there. I'm going to get a summary on the right-hand side, which is a paraphrase summary of what's been said to date. You could be speaking Portuguese. I could be speaking Dutch. The other person could be speaking English and somebody else speaking Spanish. We're all getting transcription in the language that we're native in. And at the very end of that, we're going to get a minutes or an action plan as to what's to happen next. So it's, again, they're huge in the space, and we're just working with them and what they're bringing out next. So Copilot for Teams is big. Copilot with other Dynamics and other products that they have are as big. So that's one massive area in our space. In fact, every room could have a microphone in the ceiling just to record, transcribe what's been said and give a summary back to them when the meeting's complete, and an action plan. It doesn't have to be a Teams call. And I guess the area around the camera technology, that's really picking up to make the meetings as interactive as possible with the far side is where AI is massive space in that area.
Just from our own, again, from Azolla's perspective on the language thing, we're seeing, this is where you talk about being gazumped. We were looking at, we had to start putting plans in place around localization of the language. It's English based, but when we go to Germany or Spain or wherever, or Far East, it now needs to be, we're looking at what do we do about it? And so we're looking at speech AI to do this for us. So, and ultimately the plan would be that it would go from language to language, so that Azolla is using a bolt-on that is already translating whatever the language has been spoken or typed in, converted to the native language of Azolla, and then popping out the other side, back reverse into the language of the person speaking or requesting. And so we don't want to do all that localization piece anymore.
Exactly.
We may introduce iconography as a step change, but that's where it ends. And then using speech AI. Interesting, we had one of the talks in this series was with Tony O'Dowd, who is principal researcher with Keyword Studios, and they do all the gamification or translation on adverts, on movies, for all the big streamers, like Netflix as an example. And he was saying that they're trying to get, their ultimate goal is to go from language to language, so that a movie is made in America, then it is put out in every language that is required, the next day. At the moment, he says it's like a 15 day lag.
Probably the lip sync changes as well.
Yeah,
person,
true, because that all has to go with it. There's all that sort of stuff. It doesn't look so the dubbing is done so effective, and it could be the actor is local to the jurisdiction, so it could be Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks in America, and it'll be Gerard Depardieu in France as an example. And all that has to be taken into consideration, and it has to be super accurate. There cannot be lags, there cannot be fudges. It has to be specific. But we see localization.
Yeah, we built a studio, a full-on green screen studio for a professional services company, and they pitch obviously a lot to clients for their consultations and all their other products that they will be selling and services. So their preference now is that when they are asked to pitch for a product, they prefer not to go to the person's actual premises, or if they do, there's only a few representatives who go to the premises. They like to talk back to a studio that they have. So when they're pitching a presentation, a full-on program to the potential prospect, the potential client, the prospect, and that's their way of actually, winning the business. So there's less of a need for people to go travel to different destinations. This particular professional services company has the same hub or same studio in about 5 or 6 different destinations. So they're sucking in people from different areas to make it all wham bam and really sizzle with the client. So that's corporate studios is a big space. Town hall spaces, because there seems to be this endless need for communication to all staff, Friday afternoons, whatever it might be, whenever they follow the sun. At some stages, it's a global. So the technology that's required for those rooms is challenging, massive, both from an audio and video perspective.
And is the capacity there within the technology, the hardware, to present that in real time? Wow.
Absolutely. The other experience that our clients want to, and where we need to get to. So obviously Ireland being the gateway to Europe, it's the EMEA HQ for a lot of our industries. Whatever they do here, they want replicated throughout EMEA and actually throughout the globe. So this, and again, it would be similar with software in the sense with Azolla. I would see that we have a scenario where, okay, you start here in Dublin, you do a large fit out, and you want the same experience in wherever, London, wherever, and you start peppering Europe with your same solution so that the person has the same experience wherever they go. They want management of that solution, in other words, service management, centrally controlled. So that's where the remote management thing comes in. So you want to be able to have intelligent power strips. You want to be able to do remote diagnostics. The client wants to be able to see all that on one pane of glass. That's going to go to a scenario where it's not just going to be EMEA, it's going to be the globe. So now you're going to have a network operating center that's 24/7, obviously able to do the work. So in 5 years' time, that's what I see it's going to be.
Wow. What we're trying to jump ahead of is to get, one of the things that we've spent a lot of time building into Azolla was that any alerts or, reactive calls or help desk calls or anything that needed to be done was fed straight into Azolla, and through auto allocation, Azolla would deal with the issue so that it didn't wait for the dashboard where it would certainly come up on a dashboard. They could see what the issues were. They were all there in all nice colors and gee whiz figures and but it didn't require the FM to then make a decision. So the decision through auto allocation or predetermined configurations would decide what needs to be done. Right. So for example, simple analogy, a pump starts giving trouble. It starts vibrating, a bearing starts going, or a seal starts going. A sensor will tell very quickly, either through temperature, acoustics, or vibration, it'll know there's a problem with the pump. Azolla is made aware because the sensor is telling Azolla. A pump will sit on a very happy curve if it's happy. And once it starts feeling ill, it'll start going outside those parameters. And then Azolla can dictate or determine from that information where the sensor is, what it's guarding, what it's sitting on, and what the issue is, to then decide, okay, that needs a plumber, that needs an electrician, or it needs a replacement pump. Now, a week or in 3 months' time. And it's doing that. It has already decided who the person is that needs to fix that. So there's already to the person's phone, the ping to say, go to boiler room on the 5th floor, go fix the issue. So that when the FM, the building manager comes back to the desk, they can see what has happened, but it's already in train. So there's this thing of it has to happen when they're asleep. When they're asleep, they wake up, it's on the way. And back to what I was saying about that, it comes to when the FM is on the way into the office, Azolla, the plan will be in the next 12 months that we have to be in a position that by pressing the Azolla app, here's an update of what happened in the last 12 hours while you were sleeping.
Yeah. So the parallel between the FM and the AV, that we know it before they know it.
Yeah.
And we have it resolved before they contact us.
Exactly. Technology is galloping forward, and we're all, if you stand still in this business, you're in industry. You really are, more so than ever before, where they're saying that the iterations and the machinations of AI especially just coming at us like a tsunami.
Yeah.
And if you're not with that and moving and using it, then you're dead in the war.
And I mean, it also, like back pre-pandemic, it was 5 days a week. People used to come in and out of the office, and regardless. Now they're demanding an experience when they go into the office, or else they're not going to go into the office. So if the facilities and if the audiovisual is down, we're letting them down. There's an awful lot more pressure and stress in that space there today than there was pre-pandemic. Because they're all, I mean, our clients are, I'll call it, obsessed with retention and lack of attrition, lack of staff attrition. There's such a high demand for staff out there that everything must work all the time.
You're 100%. And you hit the nail on the head. The interviewee is interviewing the interviewer in terms of what is the office like? What is my environment like? What is your sustainability goal? Is the air quality measured? Am I going to be safe? And, what's the, there was a time when I remember, and it wasn't long ago, we were in the business and it was all about, frothy coffees was great when we were coming into the building, but you come into the building will sufficiently do exactly what you want to do.
Functional,
It's functional for what you need to do. Now go do your job. That's all changed now.
That's all changed.
And we're all jumping to that tune. In terms of our software and yours, in the FM space and in the AV space, it's all changed, And there's, as we talked about earlier, we're all jostling for position here as to who's leading this, but I think the driver depends on who the client driver is. So if the driver, from the client's perspective, is IT and has a good knowledge and a vision for what the building should be, then they will dictate what they want. And then you've got the aspirational client who has heard a lot of the stuff and thinks it's readily available. And we're all going hell for leather to try and present it, but it doesn't exist.
When you start talking about, we're going to put a video over IP on your network, that kind of down the process, because you've got compliance requirements then as well. And these Teams rooms, etc., they've all still got compliance issues and concerns, not issues, but concerns, which have to be administered through.
And you're dead right, because one of the things we do is we stay away from IT people. They're aware of our software, but it's a SaaS system in the cloud, and even the sensors we put on their sites is in a closed system, closed network through 5G and gone out of the building. So IT are delighted because, as you said, it's one less headache for them. It's self-contained and it's up to us to manage it thereafter. And they're just going, happy days, nothing to see here.
It is leadership who want this, and they large leadership teams. So particularly when there's a project where somebody's moving to a new site, never just one or two decision makers. You've got a number of you've got a number of influencers in the room, and you've got the decision makers at stake. It's a much more complex pitch now.
Which does slow the process down.
Slows the process.
Sure,
And they're only in there 3 days a week. And they go on holiday.
Yes, correct. And you have to schedule that accidental collaboration on the stairs to be 2:00 on a Tuesday afternoon.
It's not, I mean, not
100%. We definitely see that in the industry.
So that learning by osmosis has slowed down. That the quick decisions aren't as quick as they used to be.
Peter, thank you very much for your time. Great open conversation.
Great.
Great. Delighted.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi there. Thanks for joining myself and Peter Fox, Commercial Director at Digicom. Please join me again next time for a different guest in a very different capacity to discuss AI and IoT. Bye for now.